Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here. Back again with another video. So you guys see the title, you see the thumbnail. I want to get into what the Chargers' defensive game plan could possibly be. At this point right now, we know that J.C. Jackson is not going to be playing. He hasn't been ruled out officially, but he hasn't practiced all week. He's been a DNP on the practice reports, and it doesn't look like anything's going to change between now and kickoff. So it would be very surprising if he was to suit up and play, but I just don't. At this point right now, I just don't think he will. So it looks like the Chargers are going to have to go this game without him. So I think that's definitely going to affect the defensive game plan, and that's what I want to get into here. I think the Staley game plan for week one definitely has to be, the first thing has to be stopping the run, right? That was obviously what the Chargers could not do last year. It is what kept them out of the playoffs, and it's what kept them, pretty much one of the better mediocre teams, but still mediocre, because they could not stop the run, and that was something that they just could not do. So that has to be number one, right? Now, I don't expect the Raiders to run the ball a lot. I don't, as far as carries go, I don't expect them to run the ball a lot. I think they are going to run the ball to try to keep the Chargers off balance, basically, not throwing the ball every down, but I don't expect them to run the ball a lot. That's not really something that they did last season, and even coming into the season now with the offensive line questions that they have, that's not something I expect them to do. So it'll be interesting to see how the Raiders do come out and run the ball. But I know that the runs that they do have, the Chargers have to make sure that they shut them down, right? The yards per carry can't be high. You can't let guys break off big chunks, 10, 15-yard chunks. Those are game killers, right? So the Chargers have to stop those. They have to be able to stop that, and that should be number one, right? That should always be number one, pretty much in every game this season. But particularly week one, the Chargers must stop the run. And, stopping the run is going to establish the physicality of the defensive line. It is going to establish the line of scrimmage, and it is going to allow the Chargers to really, be able to tee off in the passing situations. If they are able to stop the run, it's got to be something that has to be at the top of the list. It has to, because you want to make teams one-dimensional. Even if teams are good at throwing the ball, you still want to make them one-dimensional. The more drop backs you have, the more opportunities you have for sacks, strip sacks. For bad offensive line play. You have opportunities at that point, right? The more you make a team drop back. So that all starts with stopping the run. That has to be number one. Number two, the Chargers have to be able to get pressure with four. Again, J.C. Jackson's not playing, so I think this is probably going to be, this game plan probably is going to consist of a lot of zone blitzing, if there is any blitzing really at all. It's obviously going to be zone blitzing. I don't think you want to leave, even though I think Michael Davis is going to start. He had a pretty good camp, and he had a pretty good preseason as well, too. I don't think you want to do too much man-to-man and expose your corners too much. I think there is going to be opportunities to bring it, but as far as just being a man-to-man corner, kind of like how J.C. Jackson is, you can run him out there every single play, and put him at man-to-man, right? He can shut down pretty much one side of a field. He can travel with whoever the best receiver is. That's not Michael Davis. I think Michael Davis has to, he has to be a guy that's in variety coverage. You got to, some man, some zone. But I think he is, I think he'll hold up fine. But I think the game plan is going to allow him to be able to hold up. I just don't think there's going to be too much man-to-man out there. Like I said, there's going to be times to pick your spots. But, as far as just, kind of shutting down one side of the field, that kind of goes away without having J.C. Jackson in the starting lineup. But the Chargers must be able to get pressure, though. And if they get pressure with four, I think they'll be fine. And I think it's something that is obviously possible. If you look at the Bills and the Rams the other night, that's sort of what the Bills did. They did bring some pressure in spots, but they were able to dominate up front. Their defensive line dominated the Rams' offensive line. You look at Von Miller was unblockable. On both sides, the left side and the right side, he was unblockable. He got to Matthew Stafford. There was other guys in there, Ed Oliver. They did a really good job of shutting down the run, and they created pressure, and they collapsed the pocket several times. So this is something similar that I expect to happen in the Raiders and Charger game. It's just the Chargers even have better talent up front, I think, than the Bills do. You have Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa on the end, but I think, the pressure from the middle, Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, those guys down there on the defensive line, they're going to be able to collapse the pocket. They're going to be able to take on double teams, and they're going to be able to stop, whatever run is coming up. But they're also going to be able to get pressure, just collapsing the pocket, making Derek Carr feel uncomfortable, maybe making him roll out left, right, whatever. I expect a lot of that. And obviously that's where the success on defense is going to take place. If the Chargers are able to get pressure with the 4 up front, then you can do a lot of other things on the back end. You can go combo coverage. You can do a lot of other things. So Staley has a lot at his disposal if the Chargers are able to get pressure with just 4. So that is one thing that I'm definitely going to be looking for on Sunday. One of the major things that the Chargers need to be prepared for, and this is not really a Raider staple, but this is a Josh McDaniels staple, the screen game. The Chargers must be prepared for the screen game, because the one thing that Josh McDaniels does really well, and he's always done it pretty well in New England, is the screen game, right? He's always had a very, very good screen game, particularly on third downs, particularly on the second and 15s after a holding play or whatever. They have really, really good screenplays. That's what Josh McDaniels did really, really well. Made things easy on Brady. Good screenplays are kind of like the catalyst to getting long drives going. It settles everybody down, right? It settles the quarterback down. The linemen are able to get out and, just kind of run people over. The running back is able to pick his spot, set up blocks, right? Get as much yards as he can. There are, a lot of things that go on screenplays, but it really does. It settles offenses down, especially this Raider offense, right? They haven't, the first team hasn't taken any snaps in the preseason. This is going to be their first game. So I think that is going to be crucial for the Chargers. They have to be able to, first diagnose it, right? Be able to identify which side it's going to, then be able to come up, make tackles, and be able to shut those screenplays down, because the running backs, the Raiders are going to do a running back by committee thing. They've got a couple of them, and all of them are pretty explosive. They all have, pretty good run after catch ability. So it's going to be a challenge to shut that down. But I think Brandon Staley knows this. McDaniels has been in New England for a long time, so I think a lot of his staples, a lot of the things that you've seen in the New England offense, the staples of that offense, they're going to be here in Vegas. So they are going to be running a lot of the same stuff. Now I think you can get some wrinkles, right? You have Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, They're going to do some stuff that people haven't seen yet, but some of these staples are still going to be there. That screen game is a staple, and it always has been a staple in Josh McDaniels' offense. So I think the Chargers, they must be prepared for it. They cannot get caught off guard. If they get caught off guard by any screens, that's not going to look good for Brandon Staley and the defensive coaching staff, because this is something that everybody knows that Josh McDaniels does very well. I'm talking about it now. Even I know, right? I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. But this is something that he's known for. So I don't want to see any excuses when it comes to that. The Chargers should be ready. They should be prepared for that, and they should look for it early, right? From, first play of the game, all the way to the end of the game. They should be looking for the screens, because that is what the bread and butter is of a Josh McDaniels offense, right? It gets everybody going, settles, the offense down, and it's able to kind of get them in the rhythm. So you kind of want to be able to break their rhythm, by being able to identify, diagnose it, and trying to stop it, right? Putting guys in positions to stop those screenplays. So definitely an important thing to look out for. But just overall, man, the overall game plan has to be controlled aggression. I think you have to control the aggression. I know there's been a lot of talk about this being a revenge game from Week 18 of last year and all of that stuff. And I guess you can say in theory it is, but 2021, the season is gone. Right? It's done, and it's never coming back. So I think the Chargers really, if they go into it and they're able to compartmentalize, everything that happened last season, to end the season, if they're able to compartmentalize it, use a little bit of it as motivation, but still go into this game with a renewed energy, renewed focus, I think they'll be fine. But I don't think a lot is going to be at least on the Chargers end. I don't think a lot is going to be made about the Week 18 game last season. Obviously it didn't end the way that anybody wanted to. It was ugly, but it is what it is. This is a new season. So, I think the J.C. Jackson injury, I think this does change the philosophy defensively. But I don't think it changes too much. I think the Chargers still have a lot of favorable matchups along the front seven, right? The front seven guys have a lot of favorable matchups. I like what the Chargers can do in coverage at the linebacker position, especially with Van Noy. I think he's going to be getting the start. So I think everything lines up pretty well. I think obviously it's just execution. It's going to come down to execution, and just trying to keep the Raiders out of the end zone. I think red zone defense is going to be a huge thing. I think that's probably going to be the main contributing factor to whether the Chargers win or lose. Darren Waller is obviously going to be somebody that you want to keep out of the end zone. He's a guy that I would double in the red zone. I know Hunter Renfrow can be very dangerous. He has such a quick burst at the line of scrimmage, right? He's not a fast guy, but his burst and his sideline to sideline movement is really, from the slot position, it really is dangerous. So I think he's a guy that you have to watch as well too. If you have to double anybody, I will double Darren Waller because he is the bigger target. He's a guy they can throw it up to. In a lot of different positions that he can go up and get it, right? He's the biggest target that they have out there. So I would try to take him away as much as possible, specifically in the red zone, because I think he can just, he can obviously kill any team in the red zone because he is a premium target, premium tight end target in the NFL. So, that would definitely be the main focus if I was coaching. Let's take Darren Waller out of the red zone. Hunter Renfrow, he's a guy, he's dangerous in the red zone, especially around the goal line area. But he is not a speedy guy. He's not a breakaway speed guy. He can catch a lot of first downs and things like that. But if I'm going to double Devontae Adams, and I'm going to double Darren Waller, obviously in the red zone area. If anybody is going to get their numbers, it's going to be Hunter Renfrow, and he can have as many catches and yards as he wants to, as long as they keep him out of the end zone. I would be okay. But Devontae Adams and Darren Waller can both do other things. They can dominate from inside, outside, and they have crazy catch radiuses as well too, and they're bigger guys. So those are the two guys that I would really watch. The matchups that I'm really looking forward to watching, obviously J.C. Jackson versus Devontae Adams. That was one matchup that I was looking forward to. It doesn't look like it's going to happen now, so that's fine. But there are going to be some good matchups, particularly in the slot. You look at the Chargers. Bryce Callahan had a fantastic camp, and he's a guy that knows Staley's defense really, really well, and he's going to make a lot of plays this year. I think him and Hunter Renfrow is going to be a really good matchup to watch. It's going to be this is a matchup that's not going to be talked about a lot, but I think you guys should really pay attention to it. Just because Bryce Callahan knows the defense, he is a guy that can make a lot of plays in the slot, and he reads the quarterback very, very well. So I think, if you're looking at a guy who, if you're looking at interceptions or anything like that, I would probably bet money that Bryce Callahan would get, an interception, the first interception, whatever, because he knows this defense and he understands what he needs to do at the nickel position, and he is very good at it, and I think he's going to have a very, very good year. It's just going to depend on how the Raiders come out and play really on offense. If they are on the same page, if they still have some wrinkles to work out, we'll see how that plays out. But I think that is going to be a very, very good matchup. And obviously, I think the best matchup at this point now is going to be Darren Waller and Derwin James. Now, I don't expect Derwin James to come out and shut Darren Waller down. That's not really what safeties do, really, in the NFL at all. But I do expect Derwin James to, play really good really disciplined football, especially when it comes to the third downs, possible fourth downs as well too. That's when I expect him to really try to break on the ball, make plays on the ball. Not necessarily interceptions, maybe, but I expect him to really put that pressure on the quarterback. Really, try to come in and get some pass breakups, or just try to limit Darren Waller in his route running and things like that. Those are the type of plays that I'm looking for Derwin James to make. I think Darren Waller is going to put up decent numbers. I think he's going to have decent numbers, but it's just a situational football. I think Derwin James is really going to uptick his level of play. So I'm looking forward to that matchup as well too. So it's almost here, guys. Tomorrow we got one more day, one more sleep, and we will be watching regular season Charger football. So I hope everybody is excited. I am excited, even though I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. But I had to come on here and kind of just discuss what I think the Charger game plan will be. Obviously things have changed, right? J.C. Jackson is not in, so but there's no time to sit around and cry about it. It's the next man up. There's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of guys getting paid a lot of money, so they need to step up, earn their money, and I think the Chargers will be fine. I think they will win this game. My prediction has kind of changed a little bit. I don't think they'll win by more than 10 at this point now. I think they win by, the line right now is 3.5. So I will take the Chargers to win by more than 3.5. So let's just say 4. I don't have a score. I might possibly do a video before the game just to give my prediction of what the score will be. But until then, yeah, I'll probably go over that at that point. But I just wanted to come on here and just talk about what the potential game plan for the Chargers might look like without J.C. Jackson. But yeah, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out. Thank you guys so much for all the support, all the likes, all the views, comments, everything. I appreciate it. And shout out to all of my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.